Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. I always feel like it's always been a minute since I've vlogged for the next one, but I am out here on my week off. Quick little update for you guys. I am no longer working in Sake Bomb Garage. My last day was actually last Thursday. So, just finally found a new opportunity for my career, and I pulled the trigger and took it. So this entire week I'm off, and next week I'm gonna start work. So which means that there's gonna be more content for you guys this week. So I'm gonna start off with this guy here. This build is finally done as well. So I feel like my builds are finally all coming to a completion. You know, the ND Miata being completely done, nothing left to do on that car as my dailies. But especially on the chopper bobber build, I really have nothing else that I can think of that I could do, and I'm completely satisfied with the build. But anyways, I'm gonna go over it right now and show you guys what's been done to it. By the way, I don't know if it's just me, but the quality of this camera slash iPhone 15 Pro looks immaculate. Like, just the quality and the resolution, pixels, whatever, just looks really great. Apparently I'm shooting in 4K 60 right now too, so I guess we'll see how this goes on your guys' end. But anyways, guys, so what has been done to this build? Honestly, what has not been done to this build? I really started off with this bike as really like tall Z-bars, and of course stock forks with the stock rear end, meaning I didn't chop the rear frame of the bike, but I have chopped the rear end of this bike. I made it shorter. The rails used to be pretty much where like my finger was, and now like I brought it back all the way to where you see this cover here. That's how much I brought back the frame rail of the bike in the back end. Reason being is because I wanted that bobber build in the beginning for the rear ends. You know, I wanted the shorter fenders and whatnot, because before the fender used to come here. But, you know, wanted something a little bit different, and I went to sportstergarage.com, bought the fenders, the steel fenders here, as well as the covers. So just kind of wanted to show more meat slash tire on the rear end, and I feel like, you know, it definitely completes the rear end of the bike. And I actually had to convert it to a hardtail with deleting the struts, which a lot of people are like, what the heck are you doing? Why don't you want comfort with the springs and whatnot? So the reason being for that is with the springs I had, because they were so soft, they were actually rubbing on the inside of this fender. So I really didn't like that, and I actually had I have a screw on the other end of this fender that's holding the the seat on the back to it. So it was starting to dig in. You can kind of see it here. It was starting to dig in onto the tire. Thankfully I've been riding a while, so like it's starting to like literally buff out. But that's the whole reason. I just needed a fixed position to where it doesn't do that anymore. Plus I figured making it like a chopper slash bobber build, that's what a lot of like choppers are anyways. I mean, there are soft tails, but I really don't mind. I just adjust the tire pressure, and that's really my rear suspension, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, guys, that's what I did mainly in the rear. I did also do different types of aftermarket taillights. I had the circle ones before that were the stock ones, but I went ahead and went more for the sleek look of the taillights. Added an extra bracket to be able to hold part of like the rear frame to the taillights, and otherwise I'd have no way to like mount it, honestly. Went ahead and built the sissy bar, and many of you guys know the story behind this guy. So I bought this from Lowbrow Customs. This was more of like a DIY kind of sissy bar, and what I did with this is I actually chopped it, and then I extended about, I want to say like maybe an inch or inch and a half, extended from the length of the original sissy bar. Reason being is because I want to store more stuff on the back of the bike, like a full backpack. As you guys saw in like the Sea Ranch vlog, I was able to put like a full-on sea bag, military bag, and it was literally my back support, so it felt amazing. And I'm really glad I was able to modify the length to exactly like how I want it to be. Another thing I did was I changed the license plate frame, like the bracket. So before I had it on my original fenders, which I don't have anymore and I sold, That came with like LED lights and everything, so I got rid of that, which essentially I got rid of the lights. Went ahead and just got like this Amazon bracket, which holds really well. It's just being held on by the rear strut bolt that's holding the sissy bar, and obviously this guy too, so having to torque this to like 65 pounds because again, it's like a car. If you don't torque it properly, things will fall off. In this case, if this falls out, then the whole bottom end sinks in and I start like rubbing and smoking like crazy. So yeah, that's all bad. You don't want that. Another thing overview that I did was I made it all matte black, except obviously the frame itself is still gloss black. The reason why is because I just wanted like that stealth dark bike look. I feel like it would look really well with the bike. And before, it was gloss black on, for example, the tank, the OEM fenders, the battery cover, the oil pan cover and all that. It was a little bit mixed match, and it was kind of scratched too, so I figured just give it like a nice sleek dark matte black look. It makes it look a lot better, more aggressive. And of course, to the front end, one of my favorite things on this bike is I went ahead and did the TC Brothers 6-inch over Springer front end. So I really like the look of this. It makes it so retro and old school looking. It's taking essentially a 2008 modern bike into like a retro old school chopper with the springers, and the Springer, like the color itself pops really well. And I went ahead and added of course a rotary Dorito triangle headlight. Again, another very old school looking thing, and it's yellow, and it's actually really bright too if I turn on the lights, hence the rotary. So the bulb that came with it was actually really dim. I went ahead and swapped it with the LED bulbs, so much brighter at night, so I can actually see. And I made that also like a limeish green color, so it matches with the cover of the headlight. So it looks really good. Oh yeah, let me show you guys how the rear taillights look as well. So again, sleek, nothing too crazy. But I just really like the look of the taillights and the headlights. I also did get 4-inch risers. So I actually had to get this, and at minimum a 4-inch, because if I did not get this actually, like the handlebar itself would start to hit on the tank here, especially if I'm like turning and stuff. So you guys can kind of tell, like right now this is full lock to the right, which again, I don't have much steering angle, but it had to have been this height. Otherwise, again, it would make a dent in the tank, which I actually did. And thankfully, the guys at the body shop were able to kind of like patch that in and make it look like it's one piece again. So you can't really tell there's a dent there anymore. And then I got the little side mirrors here. Only one, because this is like a blind side mirror, I guess. You're able to see almost both sides. But yeah. Also completes the look in the front end. I got custom derby covers with my brand on it. Really cool company. It's literally called customderbycovers.com. About 200 a pop. Actually 200 for the primary and the secondary side of the covers. Really not bad. Turnaround time was about like 2 weeks, and it came out really good. The quality is really good. I'm actually really happy that I was able to do that, and there was an option to do custom derby covers, because I feel like this adds like a really nice touch to representing like, this is my bike, this is KooZairy's bike. Obviously it has this merch design on it, but just small subtle details that really matter to the overall build. All right, in addition to the front springers, I actually did get brakes. I kind of had to. I really didn't want to delete the front brakes on this bike. I could have, yes, it could have been more of like a chopper look, but I figured, I'll just get that when I get like a shovel head or pan head that already doesn't have front brakes. But for this guy, I still wanted to keep it safe in case my rear brakes ever go out, and I still have like an emergency brake of some sort. I hardly ever use it. I mainly use the rear, but when I do, it's nice to have that extra stopping power or that backup stopping power. Otherwise, TC Brothers also made this caliper. It looks really great. The bracket as well with it, definitely has like that Brembo bike version look of it, and I don't know, it looks good to me in my opinion. I also did the wheels. I went to a mag wheel that's from like a 2014 or 2016. Custom powder coated mag blue. You guys know how much I love my mag blue, and it's just something that you know, I figured it would look good on the bike. It's not too bright of a color of a wheel. It's like dark enough to where it's subtle to the overall look of the chopper bobber build. But before, I had the mesh wheels that were from like the Sportster 48s, and it just was rusted out, and it could have been like a cool retro rust mod kind of look to the bike, but that's not really what I was going for this build. So I went ahead and sold that, got these newer ones, which surprisingly they're kind of expensive. They're almost like 500 a wheel, even used. So I went ahead and just found one on eBay, shipped it to my house, got it powder coated, and yeah, I'm glad I actually went with this look. Looks pretty good. All right guys, I got a couple more things to show you. So kind of subtle, but I'm really glad I did it. I went ahead and did a lot of like wire tucking underneath the tank. So all this that I added here was from me. I just wanted to not show as much wires and keep it all contained in a spot and kind of like flow with the original wiring harness tuck that was from Harley. So before it was just like everywhere and it just did not look good. So I'm glad I did that, and you really can't see any other wires. There is a couple, like if you look underneath there, like that one wire going there, but it's really not too much. It's not too bad. And definitely had to go with that clean electronic wire tuck look. Another thing I did while we're at the front, I did get new handlebars. I actually went through so many different handlebars and finally found a one that I feel like flows well with the bike. Before, again, like I mentioned, I had really high Z-bars that came with the bike. So that I got shorter Z-bars with high risers. And actually, I believe that it was the same risers. I don't know, it didn't really look good to me. I felt like, something was off. Everything else had like some sort of flow of a curvature to it, and all of a sudden the handlebars that I had were like way too sharp, and it just kind of threw off like the front look of the bike. So I went ahead and sold that, and then went ahead with these guys as my last resort. So they're called Mini 8 bars, I believe. I don't really know, I forgot how high they are, but I think there's like one size higher that's like up to here. I feel like this is good enough, as this is like shoulder width to me when I'm riding. But yeah, definitely happy with the overall look of the front and the rear and the side and the overall bike just in general. So pretty stoked that the build has come to an end. And of course it is tuned, as you guys saw in the previous vlogs. I'm not gonna mention numbers because I honestly forgot. But I did make less power with the new exhaust pipes, so that's all I remember. But honestly, as long as it rides smooth, which it does, that's all I really care about. Last but not least, before I forget and end this vlog, I actually went ahead and also wrinkle black powder coated the rocker boxes, both layers here and here. It was silver before. I went ahead and did wrinkle black, and I also did the gearbox cover on the side. Again, it was actually this color, this gray color, but it was a little bit faded and it wasn't as clean of a gray as this was. So I went ahead and just said screw it, to do all black, because again, that's the look that I was going for. So went ahead and did wrinkle black on this side, and of course, as you guys saw on the primary cover, also did wrinkle black. Again, it was this color for this, and I actually had to get a brand new primary cover because apparently in the last owner, the drain bolt for this guy was stripped inside. And yes, I could have tap and dyed it to make it completely new set of threads, but I just didn't really want to deal with that. And I figured just to get one that's already black saves the hassle of me trying to powder coat it. So this part is OEM wrinkle black from Harley. So a little bit of a difference compared to the gearbox side, but again, nothing too noticeable. And again, I think it just completes the look of the bike in general. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it for the vlog. If you guys have any questions on the overview modifications that I did to my chopper bobber build, please go ahead and comment and ask down below, and I'll try my best to answer your guys' questions. Otherwise guys, that's pretty much it. It's just time to enjoy another build being completed and just ride along. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys later, and I will keep you guys updated as always. See ya.